There's something special about veterans, and I don't think I realized it until I was first year at the plant, and I became plant manager in like September, and in November we had our very first veterans celebration luncheon, and we had been through a really tough year. A lot of chaos, a lot of long hours, a lot of problems. And as the group assembled into the room, I noticed some of the most dependable people that I had personally relied on over the last, year at the plant were sitting in the room. And I recognized how big of a presence they had once I realized who they were, right? They were humble, they knew their jobs, they asked for things when they needed it but never complained. It was this silent force kind of in the background guiding us that I didn't even realize until I could put the two together. And so I think for me, that was a little bit of a light bulb of there's something different about this group of people. And it was impactful to me. So that was I think why I feel like it's important to recognize veterans and also to spotlight them, even though often they don't want to be spotlighted, because I think they have a big impact on me and others.
My name is Shannon Studi. I work in the Industrial Engineering Department on third shift, and I served in the United States Army.
I'm Corey Murphy. I work block line machining, and I've been here since about 2006, and I was in the Marine Corps.
My name is Michael Lewis. I'm block line maintenance. Been here for 10 years. I was in the United States Air Force.
My name's Kenneth Evans. I'm second shift maintenance on the block line. I was United States Army.
My name is Jason Riley. I work here as the materials manager at CMEP, and I served in the United States Marine Corps.
My name's Andrew Walker. I'm the second shift block line area manager, and I was in the United States Air Force.
My name is Frank Epler III. My branch of service is the Navy, and I work in 6B on assembly line. I am the 6B coordinator for third shift.
Brandy Camel. I work at Cummins. I've been in the Army for 22 years.
Alan Hornick. I've been working here at Cummins since 2005. I'm a controls engineer in the manufacturing engineering department. I served in the military from 1986 to 1992 in the United States Navy.
My name is Albert Kennedy, and the job title is support specialist. I was in the Coast Guard, 4 years active duty and 2 years reserves. Every bit of those 4 years active duty was an experience, and especially from a young guy right out of high school from southern Indiana, didn't have a lot of traveling experience. I got to see and do a lot of neat stuff.
I wanted to see the world, and I was a young man, and I just wanted to get a better understanding of what the world was about, and also I wanted to serve my country.
After 9/11 kicked off while I was in basic training and just felt like I was doing nothing. So thought, the Army could help me see things and get my butt out of the rural Indiana.
What I learned about myself while in service was that I could do a lot of things. I went in at 17 years old, so I grew up while being in the military, but I think I learned that kind of integrity and strength was in me.
I learned how to adjust to different situations and how to react and think quickly.
Your commitment to your job, because it's your life. Accountability, being in a team, you are held accountable for your part and you hold others accountable. You give direction, you get direction, and you willingly do both. And integrity, it's just those core values are drilled into you, and they come naturally in that type of environment.
I learned I could push myself well beyond what this little guy from Wooten, Kentucky ever thought he could, because I had people following me. So
I always had a lot more in the tank than I thought I did. If you think you're done, you've probably only given about 60%. You probably have a lot more in the tank than you think you do. So anytime I think I'm spent, I know I'm not. I know I've got a lot more to go. I haven't been as exhausted at Cummins as I ever have in the Marine Corps. So I know if I'm like, man, this is a tiring day, I know I got a lot more to go, you know.
They push you. So you kind of find out where those limits are. Like, the military's not an 8-hour-a-day job. When you're deploying, getting things set up, you just keep going until the job's done.
Talk about camaraderie, you know. You get that in the military, and you get it at a job like just right here too, of course. We spend a lot of hours here, and that's something that human beings need.
You know, we're all there for the same thing, and we're all experiencing the same thing pretty much. You know, everybody's away from their family, so the people that you're in the military with, they kind of fill that role.
I think I feel pride still to this day, every day, about being a Marine. The time that I served, the people I served with, I had the privilege of serving next to great men, and being able to see complete intense level of sacrifice, an intense level of empathy, forgiveness, compassion.
I don't know how to put a description on sacrifice. There's a lot of us join the military, but there's a percentage of us that are in it for what it's for. We love this country, right? We love one another. We love our families. We love the red, white, and blue. And we love like what we represent. And so to sacrifice, you believe in something so hard like that. And in religion, right? Like God and Christ and family, all of it. And we want to protect that right to still be the U.S., right? And be the American people. And we say the American dream, and we joke about, oh, we're living the American dream, but we can, and we have the ability to do so. And other countries not as much as we can. And so as far as sacrificing, like, it's hard to describe like what that, you just do it because you believe in it and you believe in the whole, what we stand for.
I had a young Marine that was under me. His name was Bishop. He was 19 years old, and sort of a green guy, but super good kid, hardworking Marine. We were on a combat patrol, and we were moving through Baghdad, kicking in doors, and we got intel from local people that there were some bad guys over in this house, and it was a big 3-story house, had a gate and fence around it. So we conducted our combat patrol up to that point. We got to the side of the wall, and we saw there was a gate that was open. We observed that there was no booby traps or anything like that we could see. And when we stacked on the wall and popped around, I popped to the outside, and my number one guy, Hutchison, button hooked around the corner. His weapon came up, and it was right in the face of a woman. This woman was terrified. You saw her life flash before her eyes. And then there was a second woman that was right behind her, and they were dressed in black, which means that they were married or spoken for. And these two women were by themselves. So we called the women out. I had my doc search them to make sure they didn't have bombs on them or anything like that. And then we posted security on them, stacked on the wall again, immediately went right into the building. We cleared it from the 3rd story all the way down. And at one point, I had walked into the bottom floor, and I went to this back room. And back there in that back room, there was a prayer rug laying in the middle of the floor. And there's 3 boxes filled with stuff. And it was sort of symbolic of the destruction of these people's lives. There was a Republican Guard vehicle parked out in front of the place. So we were sort of, in my mind, I was translating everything that I was seeing. These 2 women were probably completely alone. Their husbands were probably destroyed or killed by us in the last several days. So they have no one. When I opened that door and I saw the prayer rug, on the prayer rug, there was one of the black traditional dresses they have. It was holding a baby, a newborn. So this child had just been recently born in this horrible environment. And my guys, all of a sudden, I looked up and they're standing around me and we're all looking at this child. And it was like for that, it was like for that brief moment, everything went away. Well, we carried on and we stepped out of the house and we carried on with our patrol. We left the 2 women and the baby inside the building. We got back to our patrol base, which was it was like an old soccer stadium, nightclub, whatever kind of place for Saddam's elite. And we were dug in the fields out back. And we were sitting there and I was thinking about that patrol and I was thinking about that kid and the 2 women. And here comes Bishop. He jumps down in my hole and he's like, hey, we want to go on patrol again. I was like, what? Why? They said, those 2 women and that baby, they've got nothing, man. I was like, I was proud. Because they knew it, every one of them. I was so proud of them. I was like, all right, boys, we're stepping out. And you're talking, every time you go on a combat patrol, 50-50 chance you ain't coming back. These young men were willing to sacrifice their life for 2 women and a baby. People think Marines are hardcore and all about killing. We're about saving too. We went on that patrol. My Marines, we were 4 days ahead of the 1st Marine Division. We had no resupply. We were sharing MREs. These guys were sharing applesauces. They put together a rucksack that we had taken off one of the dead enemy. We had packed this rucksack full of stuff, and these Marines sacrificed their stuff. We had no chow. They were putting their chow, handy wipes for the baby. Like, I was surprised at how much stuff they put together. Canteens that we had picked up from the Iraqi army and stuff, filled them with fresh water. We loaded up this care package and we went on our patrol. We go into the house or come around the corner and these women see us and they think they're back to kill us. We're done now. And instead, my guys just developed a 360 circle providing security high and low. And I called the ladies over and I opened up the rucksack and I said, this is for you. And I started pulling stuff out and I showed them, what it was for. And I opened up the MRE packets, show them this is food for the baby, applesauce, And I was explaining all this stuff to them. And I gave them the care package. And then once we were done with that, it was time to go. And so rallied up my guys, time to kick off, go back, continue back to our little forward operating base. And as we were starting to walk away in clear and plain English, the second woman said, thank you. And that's the story of a real Marine. That's what it means to sacrifice. 2 women and a baby. I'll never forget that story. That is pride.
One thing I think we should all do is try to understand them a little bit better. Having not been through the training and the rigor and the service, I don't understand what that means. And so when I get an opportunity, I ask about their experiences. And every time I hear something, I think about my own challenges and it makes them feel pretty small, to be honest. I think that what we need to learn from veterans is a little bit of humility and a little bit of appreciation for both the service that they do, but also for what we have. We overlook that sometimes, and it brings it back in perspective usually when I have those interactions. I think if I had just a few seconds to tell veterans maybe what they mean to me personally, or what I think that they do for all of us in general, it's there is something different about you. You decided to do these hard things that frankly I just don't have inside of me to do. And even if it takes people a while to recognize that, I want you to know that eventually they will. Just being around you makes a difference in the people around you. You're still serving even if you're not in the military anymore. And it's in kind of the little things that you do every day. You're very much a person or people that inspire me, and I think the other people that get to be around you on a daily basis. So just thank you.
I would say thank you, and thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for helping us.
Just thank you for everything you've done. For us, for everyone.
Thank you for saving our country. We all love you. You guys are great.
Be safe, fly high, and thank you for what you've done.
The kids. I mean, that's who you were doing it for. You wanted to ensure a better future for any kid that was in a bad situation, under terrorism, under any kind of rule.
I will carry with me forever the experiences I had, the people that I worked with, that I was stationed with.
You really gained some friendships with some people that you generally would have never thought that you would be friends with.
You have to learn to listen to people. Everybody has their own problems. And a lot of times you can, just by sitting and listening to them, you can help them.
And if you ask for help, you're going to get it. That's how I was taught. So if I put my arm around them, I was throwing them out of something.
You talked about pride. I am proud that I did it, and I have no regrets whatsoever.
That just set me up for the rest of my life to be a productive person in society and at work and family.
I wish and I hope that all my soldiers will take away is the pride for what they're doing and being humble for what they have.
I think I will always keep those values close to me, and I will always be a soldier.
Live a life of service and make that life of service to the benefit of those that are around you.